Hi, and welcome to Elegant Sentiments today. I'm Cheryl, and this is our weekly card share number 121. And I'm here with some products that I'm going to use from Lisa Horton Crafts and Spellbinders to make an easy stenciled card today. So I'm using the new Stencil Deck 2, and there's 52 designs in this pack, loads of fun stencils that you can work with. They're fun for backgrounds, foreground, anything. I love them. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but there are a total of 52 different designs. There's just geometrics, and there's Christmas bells and wedding bells. It could be just everything. So these are a beautiful pack of stencils, lots of variety there. And there's, if you go to Lisa Horton Crafts YouTube, there's product demos there where you can see the entire deck um, of these products. I'm going to be using two of these stencils from this deck for the card today. For my sentiment, this is an oldie but goodie. I use this one all the time. I have tons of these already made up. This one is the curved everyday sentiments. That it's an old hot foil plate. So I use that for my sentiments, and then my beautiful William Morris matte blending inks that I love. I've got Redhouse Brick, Cottage Powder, Jasmine Sage, and Wild Tulip. So these are the products that I'm going to be using for today's card. And it's a super simple, easy card to make. Oh, I did use one other product. It just dawned on me for this frame. I used this is another of Lisa's products, or it's by Lisa Horton Crafts for Spellbinders, and it's the bow and bell scallop frame. So I just used the two frame dies to create the frame for this card that I popped up on foam tape. And then here is the super easy card that we're going to make. And let's go ahead and get started. I'll bring in my rotating platform, and I've got my cards already die cut. So this is a white panel of 4 by 5 1/4, and these are the two stencils that I'm going to be using. This is the floral, and then this one I'm going to be using a portion of it for the corners. Now you could, if you wanted, ink up the background if you don't like the white the way that I have it, but we'll just make it using the sample. We're going to craft it just like the sample, um, to keep it really just simple and easy. There we go. And I'm just going to ink that up with some cottage powder ink. I'm going to go all around the perimeter of this this panel, and inking up these corners with the cottage powder. Just being careful not to get the ink beyond the area of the stencil that I want. You could tape it off, and I'll tape off some parts later when I do the flower, but for this part, it's just fine, because there's enough space in between where I'm going to ink and the stencil. So that's one corner, and we'll just move around and get the next corner and line it up. I'm lining up these with this corner piece here. So I'm getting this as close to the corner as I can get it, and making sure that these little leafy parts, for lack of a better description, are lined up and inside that page. And just adding the cottage blue ink really fast and easy. I'm doing this. A friend, one of my crafty friends that um, always watches my videos and gives me feedback, asked me to actually use the stencils on a card. I posted some on my blog post that didn't show me actually crafting with them. And so she asked me to do that. So Carmen, when you see this video, thank you for the suggestion because I used your suggestion and here we are. So going on with the next corner and just putting that design in the corner. So cute. I really like this design. I did it originally on a larger piece, and I added, instead of just using the four corners, I also added some in the middle and on the sides, and it was really, really cute. I've sent it off. I wish I would have kept it first to show, but I didn't do that. I forgot. So here we go. We're going to the last corner and get this lined up again. Super easy. Here we go. And oh, I'm a little crooked in that corner, but that's okay. It'll all work out. Okay, so that takes care of our corners. Really pretty. And the next thing I want to do then is start on the flower, and I'm just going to put it right in the center. And let me put this ink back. And so I'm going to tape this stencil down, and I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the center. Just using my eyeballs, and I'm going to use some tape here to tape the stencil onto the paper so that it doesn't move on me. And then I'm going to tape off because I'm going to stencil the flower first. So I'm going to tape off these leaves with some low tack tape. I'm going to use several pieces because I want to make sure that I'm not inking the wrong color anywhere. So we're just inking off or taking off these leaves. And then we'll ink up the flower and we'll move the tape and ink the leaves. Let's see. I think I'll put this down like that. Oh, missed the spot. I'm just being very generous with the tape instead of being too fussy about where I put it down. And so my flower is going to be Wild Tulip and Redhouse Brick. And so bring in my blending brushes. I've got some little ones here that I'm using for this. I'm going to start with the Wild Tulip and just adding that ink in. To be careful that I don't tap my brush where I'm not supposed to. And getting a little deep color. in here first, and then I'll go around and just add color throughout the rest of these petals. Just so that we have a variation in the color of the leaves or petals. Nothing too fancy. I love these William Morris inks. I think they're starting to come back into stock. Lisa had mentioned in a recent live that they were actually on their way back into her shop, which means they'll make it back into the shops here in the US very soon. So we're excited about that. These colors are gorgeous, and they match really well her pastel white core cardstock. So if you're looking for cardstock to match these colors that are in that line, check those out. Okay, so I think that's kind of all I want to do with this wild tulip, and then I'll come in and do some outline with the red brick. Very quick and easy inking. Get this, there we go. And I'm just gonna kind of go in around the darker areas, right along the base, and then we'll add a little bit around the outside of the leaves, and I think that'll kind of do it for this color. Just adding a little bit of variation in the colors on the petals. I'm not an artist, I'm just trying to mimic what I think you might see in nature. I know that all leaves, all flowers are not one single color most of the time, so that's why I'm doing this. Just inking onto the edges a little bit with this red. Trying to remember to tap off so I don't get big blobs. I'm good for blobbing. Even though I try not to, I still do it. Like we all do. Every now and again. Teeny bits. Let me come around this way a little more. Get these petals. And go around and grab these. Okay, and then I think I'll go back over that with some wild tulip, just for good measure. Deepen that a little bit. And I could add a little bit right here on these tips. I might need just a teeny weeny bit. Okay, so that'll take care of the flower. And then I'm going to move some of this tape around, wipe off this stencil, and move some of this tape around to get the leaves. So we'll pull this up and cover up my flowers so I can get to my leaves. No, I'm going to do it like that over here, and maybe move this one. Oh, might do two pieces. And put this over here. Well, if I get the tape to stick down, there we go. And like that, and like that. And then I'll move this tape and cover up the other part of the flower. That should be good. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll do the leaves with Jasmine Sage. Just using one color on the leaves to keep it simple. Get our Jasmine Sage and just start at the base. Trying to make sure I'm not missing a part. And ink these in. And this little flourishy part, I'm just making it solid and as dark as I can get it with a couple of inkings. And you could use a different color ink on that part if you really wanted a more dramatic look on the flower. Or on the leaves, I should say, the leaves and the stem. You could add a totally different color if you wanted. But I'm going with just sticking with the one color. And I probably could have used a bigger brush, and then that's what I'll do. I'll just get the bigger Jasmine Sage brush. And then add another coat with I'm glad these inks are coming back in stock. I've been using them like crazy since I got them. And I might need to buy me another couple of ones, the ones that I use heavily. I mean, I have literally been using only these inks for the most part since they came out. And just darken up these tips a little bit, or base rather. Fun and easy. Super simple. And that is all the inking that we need to do for this card. Very simple design. Let me pull this tape up, get it out of the way. And just making sure I got, there we go. And we'll pull off these pieces of tape here. And then we can, I'm going to lift this up off of the, there we go, there. And so there's our inked up panel. Really sweet. And you know what? I'm wondering, let me look at this again. I think I may have, I missed a little portion of that stem. So let me put this back down and grab that little bitty portion of the stem. And that's why I love stencils, because they're so easy to, if you have an oopsie, you can easily fix it. There. All right. So there we go. There's our panel for our card front. And then I've already cut a frame, and I've cut a matting layer for the back. So let me clean up a little bit here, and we'll get going on assembling. Okay, so I've got my sentiment already done. I'm going to make this a thank you card. And so we're going to put our matting layer down. Always like to put some white when I'm doing this so I can make sure it's even. And we'll put some glue. I'm going to use glue for this layer. And then I'll use tape to put it on the, actually put the card topper onto the card base of my A2 card. The matting layer is 4 1/8, 5 5 3/8. So we got a little teeny 1/8 inch border on this one. Just kind of get that moved around so that it's nice and straight. I think I've got it pretty straight. Yeah, it looks pretty straight to me. So we'll go ahead and press that down, and I'll burnish it and get the corners or tops, I guess, on this. And then we'll add this to our card front, our card base, to the front of the card base is what I'm trying to say. And I've got a few little stragglies on my little hairy bits on my black card base, cardstock. Okay, and so we'll bring in some tape runner and add this to the card front. Then we'll mount our frame. And I did an oval frame, and because I want to see, after I did my sample, I thought, oh, I wonder if an oval frame would look nice. So I did pull out some of, Lisa has a die set of scalloped ovals, and I die cut a small frame so I can look and see which one looks best, if there's a difference, or if I have a preference, I guess is. Okay, so there's the card front all done. And let's see, so this is the original plan, was to use the square, but I thought maybe an oval might look nice also. And I don't know, I think I kind of like the oval. Where's my sentiment? Here it is. Let's take a peek. We could pop that on like that. I don't know. Might need to put the sentiment up a little higher if I go this route, but that covers up all the leaves. Maybe I could, no, it's got to be on the thing. I could put it like that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't decide. Let's try this again. See what we're thinking. I think I'm going to stick with the rectangle. I like it better for whatever reason. I think I don't like the sentiment hanging off too much the way it was on the oval. And then I'm going to bring in some foam strips for this frame. And I thought I had a piece already cut, but maybe not. And make sure I put the sticky side down. And we'll trim this all the way around. To add a little extra dimension. Just trying to make sure I get this on there straight. And don't cut my frame. And then here's the other piece. I know I had a little piece somewhere. Stick that down. Hard to see that black on black, so I'm gonna pick it up. Make it easier to see. Okay. So we've got our foam strip on. So I'm just going to peel off this backing and add it to the card front. There we go. All right. So I got to be careful when I put this down, because when it's down, it is down. And I'm looking more so at the corners between the on the card than I am the inked part, only because the ink part is eyeballed and I don't want to focus on that. I want to keep this aligned with the card itself. Uh-oh. I just think I made it go whopper jawed, and I did. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah. Okay, and then the last thing we'll need to do, I'm going to put a little piece of foam tape in the center of the sentiment and leave the edges for glue. And we're going to stick this down. The other one, the sample, I had it kind of angled, but I think I'm just going to do this one straight across and add some glue on these edges because it'll be sitting directly on that frame. And pull this off. Put this down. And give a little tiny space there. There. Okay, and so the only other thing we need to do, which of course is optional because I think it's pretty just the way it is, but I've got some clear gems here, and I'm just going to put these around the flower, just so we have a little bit of sparkle. You know, I need my sparkle. You know what I could do? No, I'm going to stick with these. I could do some oh, I can't think of them. Little drops. That's not coming to mind. Look at this. Come on here. Where's my other little pickup tool? I don't see where I put it. Let's try this one. Well, okay, we're going to leave you be because you've got a mind of your own, and I'm not going to be fighting. And then we're just going to add a few of these drops around the flower. It has a little something on it. There, get it off. I'm kind of putting them in a S curve to kind of mimic the curve of this little floral thing there. And I'm going to stop with an odd number. So I think I'll go here. Yeah. So there we go. Today's easy project using Lisa Horton Craft Stencil Deck number 2. And that is the project. You can also, I didn't do it, but you can stencil the envelope to coordinate with that. It's really obviously going to be really quick to do. And you'll have a quick and easy card project. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this project. If you do, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and check me out on other social media. My Elegant Sentiments Limited is my Facebook group, and elegantsentiments.com is my blog, and I post both places weekly. So thank you again. I hope that you have a fantastic day and that you have some time this week to craft a little kindness of your own. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.